Welcome back, everyone. The polls in New York closed less than an hour ago.
And taking a look at some early numbers for the race for governor, with 30% of the precincts reporting the polls closing just under an hour ago. Kathy Hochul leading Lee Zeldin with 66% of the vote to Lee Zeldin's 34%. Let's bring in Robert A. George and Javier Lacayo for a closer look at this race. Robert, a member of the Bloomberg Opinion Editorial Board and columnist, and Javier, a senior vice president at SKDK.
Guys, great to have you with us. So we found a really striking moment here tonight when our reporting on the ground, it found that Sean Patrick Maloney left town to go to D.C. to attend to Democratic Party business while his race is still being counted. What I've never seen that one. What about you?
That seems a little bit odd, and apparently his excuse that he's running, he has to oversee the DCCC, which is his secondary job, right. Is, I don't know, horsepucky. We are allowed to say horsepucky on TV.
Yes, it's clean.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not buying it.
No, it seems unusual. It's a very close, as your reporting has shown, it's a very close race right now. It seems that some of the polls it's neck and neck, and the challenger, Assemblyman Lawler, looks like he could oust Maloney, and it seems like Maloney doesn't want to at least gather with his supporters, which is unusual.
Bit of a head scratcher there.
Yeah. What about that? We just had the numbers there, the latest numbers for the race for governor here in New York. What's this telling you this early here in the evening?
Well, right now, most of the vote that we have in is early and absentee ballots, which tend to skew Democratic. But I think that right now, Governor Hochul still has pretty strong numbers, and certainly a little bit tighter maybe in the city than she was hoping it to be. But she's still holding the level of support and driving up the margins in places like Brooklyn, in places like the Bronx, that she's really going to need to have, especially if Long Island and Westchester and the Hudson Valley end up being as competitive as they seem to be.
What'd you make of the moods from the different two campaigns? I don't know if we have a chance to put those pictures up, but there you see a video. But you saw the Zeldin campaign putting champagne out. You saw the campaign for Kathy Hochul, a little tense, a little tight tonight. What are your thoughts there?
I still think it's a little early for champagne. But look, I think that even with Governor Hochul pulling off a victory tonight, it's a tough night for Democrats nationwide, right? I think we've seen that voters on both Republicans and Democrats are dissatisfied with the direction that the economy has been taking. We've seen the economy be the #1 issue driving voters both in New York State and nationwide. And I think that the Democrats are really going to have to think a lot more carefully about how they communicate on the economy. Done a great job talking about issues like abortion, but I think voters clearly want to hear more on the economy.
And crime here. That's what Zeldin. I think we've seen that Lee Zeldin basically needs about 30% of the New York City vote, and I think there's some numbers are showing that he's hit that number as well. So we'll have to see what happens when we start counting the suburbs and upstate.
You're not ready to say Governor Zeldin yet, are you?
Not ready to say at this early hour. No, not at all.
Definitely not. Let's wait till we get later into the evening.
The nature of midterm elections, though, right? I mean, this is kind of playing to form.
Yeah, exactly. It ends up being about the party in power and concerns that the voters have with them, and that's why Democrats are on the defensive right now. So we'll see.
Hochul, though, she brought in some big guns there towards the end of campaigning. She had Hillary Clinton. She had the vice president here. She had the president here.
Which is a sign of weakness, not strength.
Right.
Absolutely.
In the last inning, so to speak. All right. Javier Lacayo and Robert George, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your insight.